So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am happy to see everyone, and I'm going to be working today on strength. And one of the things that happens when we develop strength in yoga is we end up with a fabulous ability to work our core. So some of this will be working our core. And why is that important? It's important because we need to strengthen our core in order to avoid having lower back pain. And we want to have no lower back pain because it's very difficult to remedy. So let's just sit for a moment and find ourselves inside ourselves and find ourselves being present. And one of the things we might want to think about is one of the niyamas, which is has to do with self-study and examining ourselves. Um, and that can be a perilous journey if we're filled with self-loathing. But I think that the interesting thing about self-study is to twin it with compassion and kindness, so that when we are studying ourselves, we are generous in our composure. And we're going to work on our strength, and we're going to find our way into our poses as best we can. So I'll give alternates, and we're going to hold them for a few moments. So this is really just establishing a baseline. What is our strength at this moment? And some of you have been um, training and doing yoga and all these sorts of things. Others of you are just beginning to move back into your bodies, maybe after a long time. So you'll have to uh, think about think about uh, where you are now, and and it's all a process. So I'm just raising my arms up, clasping my hands. This is just to open my shoulders, and I'm lifting my shoulders up around my ears, pressing my palms up, and then I'm dropping my shoulders down. And I'll do that again, pressing my shoulders up and then dropping them down, pressing my shoulders up and dropping them down. So this is a hatha yoga class, really. We're just going to do one pose after another and see how it goes, see how many we get done. Um, and I first of all, let's just go onto our hands and knees, and we'll just do some cat and cows just to uh, get ourselves, our spine mobilizing. And I've been reading a lot about one of my students has a had a fall and has a very sore lower back, and so I've been reading about back injuries. And in yoga, one of the worst things you can do in yoga is move quickly from one pose to another, or strain yourself too much when you are in a pose. So developing um, early on in your practice some spinal mobility um, can help you uh, to prepare for your poses. So this is I'm just weaving back and forth. I'm weaving my tailbone and my rump back and forth just to mobilize my lower back, and I'm moving my shoulders just to move my upper back. Good. All right. So we're going to just move into these strength building poses. So the first one we're going to do um, uh, is we're going to step back and we're going to go into forearm plank. So let's just put our hands in Sphinx pose here, and then we can lift our feet up, or sorry, our heels up and our legs, and just stay here in forearm plank for a moment. Now, this is a very uncomfortable position, but it's building strength in your arms and in your core because you're in a plank. It's very good for your core. You can draw your belly button up towards your spine and just hold here. And if this is too much for you, just bring your knees down and just the weight then would be on your forearms, but there wouldn't be your whole body weight that's on your toes and your arms. So just bring your knees down if you find it too much. And we're just going to hold for another minute or half a minute or a few seconds, whatever you can manage. I'm pressing back into my heels. I'm trying to keep my head in line with my spine, so I'm not dropping it forward or lifting it up. And now I'm going to put my knees down and I'm going to press back into a lovely child's pose. And I'm just stretching my arms out here. And I'm going to walk my arms to the left side and stretch. And then I'm going to walk my arms to the right side and stretch. And now the next strengthening pose we can do is side plank. Now there are different ways of doing side plank. You can do side plank with a your leg on the ground. So we're just in plank here, and then we'll just be in plank, and then you can put your one knee down and turn that foot here, and then lift up the other leg. So this is a modified side plank. Or you could have both legs down. You can stay there in your plank, and I'll show you, I'll just demonstrate the full side plank. And I have my feet staggered. You could have one foot on top of another. You decide what you want to do. So you can either have your knee on the ground or your feet up, your full body weight here on your side of your feet. And here I'm doing a little bit of trying to get my pelvis in line with my xiphoid process so that I'm doing not quite a pelvic tilt, but I'm making sure I'm not arching my back. Good. All right. And now let's come down and let's go into downward dog for a minute and just press back and stretch our arms out. Feel a little release. And then you can move on to the other side. Now we can either go on the other side just in side plank with your knee down, like we had it before, or you can have your feet staggered, or you can have one foot on top of the other and press into your hand here. This is very strengthening, obviously, of your arm. And you want to feel that you are not sagging with your hip down. And you either have your knee down, in which case you're a happy camper, or you're struggling here like me. All right, now we're going to come down again and carefully. And we're going to go back into a child's pose. Very good. Now, when I say strengthening, a lot of this is arm strength, but this is bone density building that we're doing. So this time we're going to go into we'll have a wide, I just have my knees apart here, or my toes together, and I'm just here in a kind of, like some version of of a, of a puppy pose. You could start in puppy pose here, actually. So you could have your hips above your knees and stretch your arms out. And then you could come back and clasp your hands together and your forearms are on the ground. And then you are just going to turn your toes under and lift up into dolphin. Now, this might be very hard for you, in which case you can come down whenever you like. You could just put your knees down and then lift up. Or you can stay here and just drop your head. Feel the sense of strength in your arms, pressing your forearms into the ground. Your head is relaxed. Your tailbone is stretching up. And you are pressing into your heels, pressing your thighs back, and finding your way into your own strength and power, strengthening your bones, calming yourself, developing resilience as we stay in the pose. If you really want to go wild, you could try and lift leg up. I don't know whether this is a good idea or not for me. I can put it down. And then I'm going to lift the other leg up. And then I'm going to put it down. And then I am going to just come down into child's pose here and move back. That was a very good dolphin pose that you did. Congratulations. And I'm bringing my arms back just to give them a rest and putting my head on the ground, my forehead on the ground, really the hairline on the ground. And here I'm breathing. There's a tendency when we're doing these poses, which are demanding, to hold your breath. So the point of yoga is to align your breath with your body. So we need to keep our breath moving. Also, when you're doing dolphin pose, your chest and the back body, the front body, you could really breathe deeply into your front and back body in that pose. All right, now we're going to come up. And now we are going to work on something which I can't do, but I'll just demonstrate me not doing it very well. So here we are. I'm standing by a wall because I need help for balance. And I'm going to be doing the chair pose, but on tiptoes. Now, this seems like a nasty recommendation. But anyway, it'll be good for our ankles, I bet. All right, so so chair pose, here we are. We're just, we have our feet parallel. You can have them together, a bit apart, whatever is comfortable for you. And we're just going to lift our arms up as we sit back. And it's really is that sense of sitting back on something you really don't want to sit on, so that you're kind of in that space of springing upper back and keeping your chest up and finding a comfortable spot. Now I'm going to turn around here because now I'm going to go onto my tiptoes, which maybe I'm going to do. So here I am in chair. And then now I'm going to rise up on tiptoes in chair and balance here. So this is the very interesting pose, proposed as strength developing, because it helps you with your balance. And I think it must be very good for my ankles, which are quite problematic. So I'm hoping this helps. And here we are, just hanging out on our toes. in chair pose, holding it. And now let's come down and let's come up and stand and bring our arms down. I guess I don't need to have anything to hold me up. And let's go back into chair pose and then come up on our toes. Here we are. So my self-study in my yoga tells me that I would like to stop doing this because it's hard. And so I am like very lazy this morning. And my self-study tells me I find this very demanding because my ankles are very wobbly. All right, now I'm going to lower my ankles and I'm going to come up and lower my arms down. And now I'm going to move my shoulders around, really move my neck from side to side. You may have more mobility than I do, but I do what I can. I'm going to turn my head and look over my right shoulder, turn my head and look over my left, and then my right and my left. Good. And now I'm going to just shake out my fingers, mobilize them a little bit, and move them around. Okay, now we're going to keep standing. We're going to do the tree pose because the tree pose is an excellent pose to develop strength because you're focusing all of your body weight on one limb. And so I'm just lifting let's do a little bit of hip mobility work here. So we're just going to do back and forth figure eights with our hips in front of us. And then we're going to draw one of those figurettes behind us and come back. So we'll go in front and then behind and then in front and then behind, in front and then behind. Good. And now we can just lift this foot up and put it in your inner thigh here and press that foot into the thigh, press the thigh into the foot, and then you are in your tree pose, which is not my favorite pose, but I'm doing it because I must. Here we go. So my balance on this foot is very bad, but I'm trying. So you can raise your hands above your head if you like. You can do somersaults and land on your tree pose. You do you. I am in struggle. This is my Waterloo, as they say in America. All right. Or in England. I guess they say it in England. Sorry. I'm so focused on American politics today. At this moment, it's pathetic. All right. Now, let's just lift our knee up and then come down. Good. And let's try it on the other side. You can have a sip of water if you need one. It's important to hydrate when we're moving, doing our yoga. So let's do the other side. We're back and forth. Hip mobility. Our hip is really juicy here, all that synovial fluid flowing around. And then we're going to go back, however you feel like doing that. Back and forward. Good. All right, now let's lift our foot up and place it gently in our inner thigh and press that thigh out, press the foot in. Feel the grounding of your foot here. And now we're going to find a drishti, a focal point, and it should be somewhere so you're not looking down at the floor or lifting up and looking at the ceiling, somewhere where you manage to keep your axial spine in good form. And then you can do you. It requires some focus and concentration. And here we are strengthening our bones in our leg. We're developing balance. We're helping our everyday functional movement and our posture. And breathing here. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, oops, and exhaling. All right, now let's lift that knee up and bring it down. Good. And we can just move our hips from side to side and feel really, I'm going to massage a little bit my thighs. Good. Now we're going to move into our strength building goddess pose, and we're going to combine it with the lion fabulous expression on our face. A good thing to show people if you are feeling quite fierce and not afraid of being embarrassed. So we're just going to stand here and take a fairly wide stance. And my feet are on the diagonal here. And it has to be a stance where you feel that you could squat down somewhat. So we're going to turn our knees out so they face over top of they're on over top of your toes. So everyone's hips are different. So you'll find your own way to this pose. And then you have to feel comfortable in it. And you're kind of sitting down here and really feeling that you can locate yourself here. And then you're going to lift your arms up in goddess pose. And then you're going to stick your tongue out, cross your eyes, and exhale loudly. So here we go. Inhale. And one more time. Inhale. And one more time. Inhale. Good. Very good. Just hold here for a moment, feeling the rich, fiery strength of the pose. And now let's just come up and stretch up. Good. Let's come down again. Let's come down back and forth a few times here, just to give ourselves a sense of our strength and our mobility. And you can see how this is developing strength in your core, in your legs, and in your arms. Very nice. Good. All right. Next on our list is high lunge, which I always find quite demanding. So I'm going to you could put your right leg forward, and then I'm bringing my foot back. I'm holding on to something, and I'm just going to go into high lunge. This is a favorite of my teacher, Angela, who's always tormenting me with this. And I'm going to put my hands up here. And then when I come down, I'm going to bring my arms back into kind of that goddess pose, stop sign pose. And then I'm coming up, and then I'm coming down. So you find your breath here, exhaling up maybe, and inhaling down. And exhaling up, and inhaling down. And exhaling up, and inhaling down. Exhaling up, and inhaling down. Good. And now we can just step forward and stand in tadasana and feel our body. We can just wiggle a little bit. Maybe we can come forward and dangle for a moment just to release a little bit of any tension in your upper body. And you can bend one knee and then the other. and dangle here. Now we're going to roll up. We're going to try the other side. So the other foot is in front, and you'll bring the back foot onto your toes. This is actually warrior one pose. But we're going to make it more mobile. So we're going to lift our arms up, and then we're going to inhale as we come down, and our chest is open, and exhale as we come up. And inhale as we come down, and exhale as we come up. Inhale down, and exhale up. Inhale down, and exhale up. Inhale down, and exhale up. And last time, inhale down, and exhale up. Good. Open your arms up. Oops. Step forward. Stand in tadasana. We can walk our feet around a bit. Take our arms. Release any tension. And we can come forward roll down into a dangle, forward bend, and just hang out here for a minute, bending one knee, bending the other. Very nice. Now, we're going to roll up here, and we're going to do a squat. So I couldn't do squats for quite a long time. So now I'm getting to be better at it. So I put my feet as wide as the mat. You do you. And then I'm just going to bend my knees, and I'm going to sit back as though, I could pretend I'm sitting into a chair actually here. I could pretend I'm going to sit down on a chair, but instead, and actually this is a very good posture to practice because it helps you sit in a chair properly. So I'm sticking my behind out here, and I'm just going to sit back and come down. And so you have to get your feet, my knees are very wonky, so I have to make sure I've got my feet right. And then I can squat. So here we are. So you might be in a different place. You might be just getting up and down from a chair, just practicing that, moving towards a squat. It's not everyone. It isn't a natural for me, I'd have to say. So I'm just going to sit here and contemplate how awkward it is. And now I'm going to get up. Now you could put your hands on the ground and then just straighten your legs up. And then you can sit down. So you do you. You don't want to fall over, and you don't want to ruin your knees. So you need to be cautious. And I'm going to just get up again. So you just come in and out of your squat or stay in your squat. You do what you like to do. And I'm pushing my my legs out with my arms, and that seems to help protect my knees. All right. And now I'm going to get up again. Now I think I can go up and down in a higher squat. So I'm going to explore that. What happens if I just try to come down into a squat, a higher squat, and come up? You see, that is possible. I don't go quite so low. So this is very good for strengthening your legs, developing your balance. And come all the way up. So you really have good posture. Your pelvis and your xiphoid process are in line here. And I'm just coming up and down one last time. There we go. Well, that's enough of squatting. Now, I think now we're going to cool down a bit. That's enough strengthening. We could try one other pose, which is really I can't do, but it's really fantastic pose. I'm going to put a cushion here in case I fall over. And it is related to the squat. It is you come down here, and you come up with your legs on the outside of your arm, your bent knees, pressing your hands into the ground. This is crow pose, and you tilt up. Now, this is tricky, and I really can hardly ever do it, but I'm going to try here. So you can just hang out here if you like. So that is apparently my crow of the day. And I keep thinking I've been working on it for a few years. Eventually, I used to be able to do it quite easily, but I don't know what it is about my, I'm just not able to. Almost. Okay. So that's something for you to think about and work on. That's a very good strengthening pose in yoga. All right. So let's just come down to our mat. Another good strengthening pose is a pose where you would be just where you would be against a wall and you'd find your distance, the length of your leg from the wall, and then you would climb up the wall, and your hands would be here, and your legs would be into the wall. It's a preparation for a handstand. It's a an L stand, but I'm not going to do that because I'll fall on my head, I think, at this point. But let's those are other things you can do for strength. Now I'm just going to come back once again into my child's pose and recuperate somewhat from all that strength building. Good. And I'm going to draw my arms back here and hang out here. Then I'm simply going to come onto my back and I'm going to do a boat pose, Navasana. So here we're just sitting here, bent knees. I'm tilting back slightly, and I'm either going to just raise one leg up and then the other, or I'm going to raise both legs up. And if you could have your hands on the ground, or you can lift them up. And here we're holding. Now you do you, so you could keep touching your feet to the ground. And this is obviously very good for your core. And it is a very demanding and kind of fantastic pose called boat. And of course, all the yoga poses were developed by looking at nature and by looking at things like boats floating in the ocean. Good. And now we can come down and let's just stretch out on our back and lift our knees up. And put your hands on your knees and just rotate them around. This will massage different parts of your lower back, your sacrum, some of your lower vertebrae, and your glutes and various muscle groups. All right. Now let's put our feet down on the ground, stretch your arms out, and try and have some space around you so you can move your arms. We're going to just lift our left leg up and cross it over our right. And we're going to press that foot in the ground and shift our hips towards the left and then fall over here. Now, if that's too much of a twist, you can unwind your legs and just drop your hips to the side. And here I'm looking at my opposite arm, and I'm going to move that around like the second hand of a clock or a watch. And here you'll find that you'll want to lift your arm up at certain points because it'll be difficult to make that circle, in which case just lift your arm off the ground. Or you could stay at that spot that's sticky and just move it back and forth and see if you can release anything there. So you do you. This is a very old Feldenkrais movement with your arms that I learned from my first yoga teacher in about 1982. I've always really loved. One of my first yoga teachers, Esther Myers, in 1982, or maybe it was 1979. I think I started with her in 1979. Good. Now open your arms out again. You can rotate your legs up and put your feet on the ground. Find the center yourself. You can move back and forth slightly, feeling that lovely massage of your back and your glutes, and then lift your leg up again, cross it over. Shift your legs. This time, we're moving our hips to the left, and we're dropping our knees to the right. Oh, sorry. I guess we're doing the other way anyway. We're doing the opposite of what we just did. And then I'm going to put my hand on top, just gently on top of my thigh, which turns me over a little bit more. And I'm going to once again move this arm around, feeling fabulous opening here. So both shoulders should be on the ground here or near the ground. And you're opening all the way around. So I'm feeling a little stickiness at about 11 o'clock, which isn't surprising. So I'm just going to move it back and forth about 11 o'clock here, just feeling what I'm feeling. It's not painful, it's just a bit uncomfortable. And then I'm going to move it around. Good. Very nice. I'm going to move it all the way around here. Very good. Now let's just bring our legs back, find our center again, and let's just bend our knees into our chest and spread our arms through our knees, hold on to the outside of your feet. And here we are in an inverted squat or a happy baby pose. So having done our squat, this feels a little bit different. My knees are more, my legs are more mobile. Everything feels quite different from the after that squat series that we had. So, and I'm just rocking gently like I'm in a boat. Breathing quietly, slowing my breath down. Now I'm going to put my feet on the ground and extend my arms out, palms up, in just alongside but outside of my torso, and I'm stretching my legs out here and feeling really lovely, relaxing moment in the day. And here I am just letting go. And now we're going to feel ourselves come back to ourselves and find our fingers tingling, our toes, the energy moving up our arms and our legs. We can rotate our arms and our legs. And we can draw our knees into our chest, rock back and forth. And then we can roll onto one side and push ourselves up into a seated position. And I want to thank you for joining me for my strength building hatha yoga class. I hope you feel sufficiently fatigued and energized. You'll find you might be a little stiff. You might want to have a nice hot bath with Epsom salts or put a heating pad on various parts of your body. Um, and uh, the point here is just to do what you can. And it's an incremental process, strengthening our body. So you need to take the time to practice and repeat and practice again. So the teacher in me honors and salutes the teacher in you, and the student in me, the lifelong learner in me, honors and salutes the student in you. And the light in me sees and honors you and your light. Deep bows. And I'll see you. I'll see you next time.